Yo, it's your boy Casual Rail with the Silent A podcast. And man, we're back with another one and a quick one at that. Hit that like button, comment below, and as always, subscribe if you got that time for this. Let's get straight into it. Mr. Martin Bakole. His next fight, his next moves, his next path. Which way should he go? We all saw that majority draw, Cinco de Mayo weekend on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez. Good fight, good scrap that he had with Efe Ajagaba. Some people think Efe won that fight with his boxing towards the second half. Some think, the likes of Martin Bakole won due to his aggression and pressure. Our opinion here, we did have Martin Bakole winning that fight by at least one round. I think he landed cleaner shots. Definitely had the pressure advantage and the strength advantage. But I won't argue with anybody who says Efe won that. He did box smart. He impressed us. He actually moved well. He finally used his reach advantage. And more importantly, he looked like he gained some speed. That is very hard to do. I just thought he was a little bit too inactive, especially when he went to the championship rounds. And again, I think Martin landed the cleaner shots. But either way, that's not why we're here. We're talking about the next moves and next path forward. I'm torn because on one end, I know for a fact they should run it back. I think it should be a rematch between them two. Martin Bakole, Efe Ajagaba, 2, run it back. Hell, it could almost be a main event itself, especially if they fight and engage a little bit more than what they did. I think the first half of that fight is exactly what we expected to be for a heavyweight clash, especially for them two brothers. And then the second half turned into like a chess match, boxing match, where, likes of Martin Bakole was trying to chase down Efe Ajagaba. I think the second match will be very interesting. Can we see the likes of Efe, put it together a little bit more, turn into a true boxer punching heavyweight, engage a little bit more, but staying out the way, moving and kind of really outboxing the likes of Martin Bakole, but at the same time letting his hands go? Or can we finally see Martin Bakole get fully in shape and bring down that weight so he can move a little bit better and carry his stamina late and let his hands fly and maybe get Efe Ajagaba up out of there? I think it'd be a good scrap, a good fight. And, that's the way I'm really leaning the most of. Like, we got to run that back. We got to run the rematch back, especially for a draw. Of course, we're hearing the likes of, I believe Frank Warren's trying to throw out Moses to get I'll mess his name up. I believe his last name is Itauma. But Mr. Moses himself, undefeated, up-and-coming contender in the heavyweight division, knocking guys out, putting them down. He can box smart, box well. He's talking about throwing him in there with the likes of Martin Bakole. I don't like it. I think it's too early for Mr. Moses. And more importantly, I think that's a bad matchup for the likes of Martin Bakole. I think it would be an interesting scrap and could turn into another Jared Anderson, where the likes of Martin Bakole puts down another top contender who's just moving a little bit too early. Then again, Mr. Moses can make a bones for himself and make a big name by stopping the likes of Martin Bakole and maybe moving on to maybe a potential Joseph Parker scrap. But at this point in time, I just don't like that fight. I think it's still a little bit too early, and I'm one that hates marination, right? But no one's calling for that fight. No one's clamoring for that fight. But it would be a name for Moses, and he'll be the one with all the win. He taking that risk, taking that early jump, and he'll make a big name for himself. But for Bakole, who's in a position to potentially step into a championship, type contention soon, I think he's got to get that rematch with Efe, clear that up, or go run it back with the likes of Joseph Parker. Get that victory back if he can, especially if he's in shape. I think at this point, Martin Bakole's career, because he's been so much of a fringe type heavyweight, the quote unquote boogeyman, and not getting the big fights, big names. I think he's at the point where he only needs the big names and big fights and needs to perform in those to get himself in championship contention, after the likes of Usyk and Dubois settle their scrap July 19, 2025. Hopefully Joseph Parker gets the winner of those two. And then Bakole, if he beats Efe, maybe beats one more than up-and-coming name or stronger name in the heavyweight division, maybe the likes of Anthony A.J. Joshua if he returns. gets him a shot next year, 2026. As far as his path forward, I think it's 100% it's got to be the rematch, or at least a similar name and stature as far as a payday and as far as a threat, and one who can put him in position for a championship title fight for 2026. And Moses doesn't do that for him. I think the likes of Efe Ajagaba, Anthony AJ Joshua, obviously Joseph Parker. Although I think for Joseph Parker's sake and where he's at in position, I think he's got other options, a little bit better options. Maybe a Derek Ward Chisora could be the likes of Martin Bakole. Again, that doesn't get him too much in a step in the right direction, but apparently Derek Ward Chisora is somehow the IBF mandatory. So maybe he can take that status from Derek Ward Chisora. That'll be a good damn fight. You know the war's going to come and fight. You know they're going to lay it on the line. And it could be a damn fight of the year contender until one of them gets stopped. And in my personal opinion, it'd be the likes of Derek Ward Chisora getting stopped nasty. I don't think he can continue fighting, but hey, he says he can go. We'll fight. And as I think more and more about it, I think that's really the two options now. I think it's got to be the likes of the rematch with Efe Ajagaba or Derek Ward Chisora, and that puts you in championship contention. Both ways do, I believe. Puts him in a good position to take on the likes of whoever wins between this trilogy. I'm speaking into existence now. Dubois Usyk obviously fighting July 19th. Parker gets the winner of those two, and then Martin Bakole and the winner between Efe and Derek Ward Chisora gets the winner of them next year, 2026. As long as Anthony AJ Joshua, potentially Tyson Fury return, doesn't have anything to say about that. I think I like that. Run it back, get the rematch, or take on Derek Ward Chisora, fight a year contender. Should be the end, should be the retirement for the likes of Derek Ward Chisora if that fight does happen. I think it'll actually be interesting. Him and Martin Bakole, they'll let them hands fly. It'll be a good heavyweight action fight. Anyways, we talked a little bit too long on this, man. Let us know what you think. What should they do? Meaning the team from Martin Bakole, should they go ahead and press for that rematch? Should they go ahead and let that thing fly? Or move on to Derek Ward Chisora, get positioned for that IBF mandatory? Or is another option? Will Anthony AJ Joshua take that fight? Will Tyson Gypsy King Fury take that fight? Doubt it. But there's plenty of options for Mr. Bakole. He's definitely a fighting man, a fighting warrior. Again, they had a good fight, him and Efe Ajagaba, and I think they should run it back. If not, go to Derek Ward Chisora. But anyways, your boy Kaz Real with Sunday Podcast. Hit that like button, comment below if you got the time, and as always, subscribe. Appreciate that love. Until the next time. Peace.